The Constructicons are the most iconic combiner in Transformers history, hands down. These 6 green construction vehicle Decepticons in their combined form Devastator are the OG combining team, and also the only ones to feature in live action other than this stupid thing. Also the only Transformer with genitals. And they are also my favorite combiner team of all time, which is why I was absolutely giddy with glee when Studio Series said they were making remakes of these green goons. And unlike its predecessor, the Combiner Wars Titan Devastator, all these guys would be individual releases, which seems to be off to a rocky start with Deluxe Studio Series Bonecrusher and Voyager Studio Series Scrapper. Do these figures stand on their own 2 feet, or do they need Devi to be complete? That rhymed. That was cool. All right, here we go, recording this whole section again because my audio app just decided to not record a single thing and bug out. So, I'm the Joker, baby! Bonecrusher is the first deluxe of our newly upgraded green gooners, and is kind of a disappointment for me. But let's take it from the top. Aesthetically, this guy is wackadoodle. He kind of looks like a core figure, but just upsized to a deluxe. Like, look at his little arms. Why are they so shrimpy? Why are they so small? The forearms just need to be like a tad longer here for this to look decent, but instead we're stuck with a Bonecrusher who has surgically had the reachers of a dinosaur attached to his shoulders. His whole torso just looks odd. It's just very chunky and oddly proportioned. Like, I'm kind of having trouble putting into words what is so off about it to me. I think it might be the length. It's very long and kind of built like a caterpillar. And from the side, he just looks terrible. Kind of like this guy. The back I'm willing to forgive because, you know, combiner. But I'm less willing to forgive how this torso makes Bonecrusher look like a terrible Diablo 4 player from the side. But you know what? I've been all negative about Bonecrusher so far. There are some pros here. The head sculpt looks really good, and look, I was just ragging on the side, but look at that mechanical detail. Same with the chest and the rest of the body. Nice and intricate and would look amazing if it were all painted. The legs also look fine, but come on. It would have been pretty hard to mess those up. I mean, they're just treads. But enough about how he looks. How does he feel? Articulation is basic and... Wait a second. There's no waist swivel? What are we doing here? What are we doing? It's right there if you untap the chest. He can swivel his waist all around. Yeah, it's probably for Devastator, but it's there. There is a waist. You just can't use it. In my opinion, it's just standard at this point for anything larger than a core to have a waist, and is a pretty big deal to lack one in this day and age. Really pulled a boner here in this day and age. It sounds like an old man. Back in my day, every Transformer had a waist, and they'd all got penises too. When we jerk off our Transformers, it would. Optimus Prime would give me a handy, and I loved it. I loved when Optimus Prime jerked me off. But at least all these joints feel nice and tight, and he is solid. But I do fear this may change over time because all these joints are on ball joints, which is kind of lame. Now, don't get me wrong, they do feel good for now, but I don't know, dude. Ball joints just don't tend to age all that great. It just kind of feels cheap to have them here. Accessory-wise, we have a blaster, which looks pretty cool. But does that make up for the rest of the robot mode's shortcomings? Nah. But maybe the scale does, right? That was a good segue. Here he is next to Studio Series Core Spike, Deluxe Blur, Voyager Wreck-Gar, Leader Swoop, and Bioshock. This is one of my favorite games ever. Aesthetically, Bioshock has aged like wine. Rapture and its Art Deco design might be the best video game location of all time, and the art style of this game is just so timeless that all these years later, it still looks damn good. Just ignore the face models. And this game's story and characters, oh, so perfect. If you haven't played this game yet, get on that. What's up with you? What's wrong with you? Is the story almost beat for beat System Shock 2? Yeah, but come on, it's the spiritual successor. Let's cut it some slack. So the robot mode is quite frankly underwhelming. Does the alt mode make up for it? And here we have the bulldozer mode. The transformation is pretty fun and simple once you get the hang of it. No child could do this. Okay, so I just realized while editing this that I had Bonecrusher mistransform the whole time. His little scoop's supposed to go down lower, but I don't have it in that for the photo, so. And it is just a brick that can't roll, but honestly, it's not a big deal. Not exactly sure where the driver's supposed to sit on this dozer though. They should make a Killdozer transformer. I also don't love how the scoop doesn't touch the ground, but it does move around. Gun can tab in here too. Bulldozer mode is fine. A fine, big, solid green brick that does get the job done. Also, we're not going to talk about the limb mode because it's not in the instructions. And no instructions, no talkie. Overall, this is a really disappointing figure. The whole point of the Studio Series line is to bring the characters from the screen into your hands with cartoon accuracy. And look at this picture of Boney from the cartoon, and then look at this guy. This is not a good adaptation. And even as a standalone figure disconnected from the shackles of being cartoon accurate, this is just an incredibly mid toy. Not terrible, but could have been so much better, and honestly, not much of a step up from Combiner Wars. Did you get that? Did you get that, you stupid audio application? Piece of garbage.
The Transformers will return after these messages.
Scrapper is the Constructicon leader and is a Voyager for some reason. I'm not entirely sure why, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. Aesthetically, Scrapper is head and shoulders above Bonecrusher. I do have some nitpicks, like the knees seem a tad low and he has some hollow bits. But those are really just nitpicks and aren't a deal breaker for me. And like his buddy, Scrapper has a dump truck load of mechanical detail to admire and a delightful head sculpt. And when I look at this guy next to his cartoon model, yeah, this looks good. Now don't get me wrong, I have serious big boy issues with this engineer, namely his articulation, which is basic except no waist. What the hell? Again, this stinks. Now, as the comments pointed out in my unboxing video for this, there is a reason. It's something to do with Devastator and having a ratcheted ankle joint for part of the combiner, and this guy couldn't have a waist, but I don't know, man. He should have just been like a deluxe at this point. Like, why is he a Voyager? Like, the only Voyager in recent memory who didn't have a waist was the Earthrise Seekers, and it sucked on those guys too, but at least they were Voyager scale. Scrapper isn't. Boo! Boo! He does have butterfly joints though. But does that make up for the crotch? No. But at least all the joints feel good and he is very solid. But I don't know, man. I really can't get over that a Voyager smaller than my hand doesn't have a waist. And I do get that Hasbro has to make some compromises for these combiners. But honestly, it gets to a point where the figures get so compromised, it kind of just makes me wonder, like, what is the point? Like, is this really a significant upgrade from 10 years ago with Combiner Wars? I mean, like, he has elbows now, but so did the Unite Warriors one. Is there really much of an upgrade here? Okay, no more rambling about if a little green toy's waist can swivel around. We're adults here. We don't care about that. We care about real things like taxes and bugs. Accessory-wise, he has a pistol, which looks okay, and 2 blasters that can be held independently or combined into this huge gun. I wonder who this gun is for. I wonder. This thing does look pretty damn cool, I'm not gonna lie. But again, there are no accessories here to justify the Voyager price point to me. Maybe the scale makes up for it? No! Here he is next to Core Spike, Deluxe Blur, Voyager Wreck-Gar, Leader Swoop, and Bioshock. But the one thing about Bioshock that does not hold up at all is the combat. A spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't played the game, but after you kill Ryan, almost all the enemies in the game just turn into SpongeBob SquarePants, and you really only have 2 options here. One, just spam plasmids or become a wrench god. This game really lacks the diversity and playstyle that the System Shock games had, and it's really the only thing that kind of keeps this game from being a flawless masterpiece all these years later. But I still love it so much, I don't care. This guy's just a deluxe, isn't he? We've been bamboozled, deceived, and otherwise had. Seriously, like, why is this a Voyager? It's gotta be the engineering, right? He must have an amazing, breathtaking, soil your britches type transformation, right? And here we have the loader mode, and I will admit that this transformation is really fun, but also really simple. The engineering here is good, but it's nothing you wouldn't expect to see on a deluxe, let alone a Voyager. But this loader does look fantastic. I love the details like this little molded in ladder on the side, and unlike Bonecrusher, this guy can roll. His big shovel type thing, what are these called anyway? Can also move up and down. I actually have no complaints at all about the loader. It looks almost perfect, feels great, and the transformation is good. It also reminds me of Grindcore, which was one of my favorite toys as a kid, so, you know, that might be clouding my judgment. But overall, this is a really tough figure to recommend. On one hand, this is a perfectly good toy, and as a deluxe, the waist would still kind of annoy me. But there's reasons for why he doesn't have one, and he has enough else going on for him that I'd be able to let it go. But this is being sold as a Voyager, and to me, it's just not worth the price at all, unless you're planning on getting every Constructicon for the purpose of making Devi, which I assume most people are. If this was a deluxe, I'd be saying, woo, really good figure. But this guy's $47 Canadian, and I'm more just thinking, yeah, I really could use that money on anything else. Doom the Dark Ages comes out in like a few days after the time when I'm filming this. That's it. Amazing things on.